You're joining us on this special show called the World Cup Build-Up Show on NewsX. Over the next few weeks, we will analyze every step Team India takes to the big tournament, the World T20. Yes, that's going to be taking place later in the year in Australia. But today we're kicking off with India's first T20 match, in fact, which is against Australia in Mohali. Yes, as India leaves behind its Asia Cup debacle. Lots of points to discuss today on our show, starting with what we did wrong at the last big tournament, the Asia Cup, and the quick amends that need to be made now for our side's super success ahead of the World Cup. The batting order and whether to play Pant or not, or whether to play Karthik or both, is the big question as well that selectors and the team are facing. Jadeja, remember, misses the World Cup as well. That's a big talking point, a big loss for Team India. Who will fill his place? Bumrah returns. What will be the impact of that? And also, what is to expect from the Aussie side that is touring India is something we're going to be looking at as well. Joining us is a very special panel on our show. Rajkumar Sharma, Virat Kohli's coach, is joining us live. We also have Sabah Karim, former Indian cricketer, live with us on the broadcast. Welcome to you both, and thank you so much for being with us today. Let me get started with you, Rajkumar Sharma. Your big takeaway and expectation from today's match against Australia. What do you believe is going to be India's X factor, and how is the team going to look at bouncing back after a very disappointing performance in the Asia Cup, Rajkumar Sharma?
Well, Uday, it is going to be a very important game since World Cup is not very far, and India is preparing hard for the World Cup, and India is supposed to be one of the favorites to win World Cup. And we have not done well, unfortunately, in the Asia Cup. So this is a very good preparation for in Team India. And as it is, everybody knows that Australia is a tough team to play against. And so India would be trying their level best to win this series and to keep their morale up for the upcoming World Cup.
Yes, indeed. And the X factor, according to you, Rajkumar Sharma, what will be the X factor today? What needs to click for us to perform well?
I think the concern in the Asia Cup was our bowling. So since Bumrah and Harshal Patel are coming back after injuries, so I would be very keen to see how they perform, whether they are match fit or not. And a fast bowler coming out of injury is always, suspect. So I think Bumrah should be the X factor for India because he's our key bowler and he's coming after the injury. So I think he has a point to prove, and he can be the X factor today.
Okay, so the return of Bumrah is something that you're keenly awaiting. Sabah Karim, let me quickly bring you in here. Sabah, how important is it for the team to bounce back after that poor performance in the Asia Cup? Even though we lost, we did sign off on a high with that comprehensive defeat of Afghanistan. Do you hope that performance continues today as well? What are you keenly awaiting in today's match?
It is a good sign that Jasprit Bumrah and Harshal Patel would be back in today's 11. So one will be patiently watching their performance, whether they are match fit or not. So that is one area where the selectors and the team management would be looking at. Second, and more importantly, Uday, is that even before the Asia Cup, we had performed very well in all the bilateral engagements. So this is another opportunity for India to come good, to get into that rhythm, to get into that momentum so that we can do well going forward in the World Cup. But having said that, I think the biggest concern for India is how to perform under pressure in a multi-nation tournament, be it an Asia Cup, be it an ICC event. Because otherwise, we are such a superb side. We are number one side in all the bilateral engagement that we have played, either home or away. The biggest issue we face is when we play a big tournament against different kind of opposition, we tend to falter at critical stages. So I think that's one area of concern for India. And I reckon India should be looking keenly to address that particular issue.
Okay, let me also ask you about the X factor then. What is the X factor in your opinion today that needs to click for a win against Australia?
Well, our batting looks quite good. The top order seems to have found some kind of a stability, and they're playing with more vigor. The strike rate has gone up. All that is wonderful news. The other thing that India needs to factor is about the power finisher, the power hitter. You want to play Karthik and you want to play Rishabh Pant in. But for me, I go with what Rajkumar has mentioned before. that Jasprit Bumrah will play a key role here. So if Jasprit Bumrah is match fit and in prime form, then he can prove to be an X factor not only in the home series but also in World Cup. And on top of that, also Hardik Pandya. I'll be quite excited to see Hardik Pandya's performance with the bat and the ball.
Okay, and as far as, of course, now Ravindra Jadeja, he's not going to be fit enough for the World Cup. That rules him out of these, two series as well. India, Australia, India, South Africa. Rajkumar Sharma, who do you believe could fill Ravindra Jadeja's shoes?
It is a big loss to them. You can't have a replacement for a player like Ravindra Jadeja, who was #1 all-rounder for India, be it with the bat or ball, and in the fielding also he contributes a lot. But I think now Akshar Patel has to perform his duties, and he's capable of doing it, and he's done it in the past. He's a good hitter. He can bowl some good tight overs. So I think he would be the ideal replacement for Ravindra Jadeja.
Okay, and a quick word from you also on this Rishabh Pant versus Dinesh Karthik debate. Where do you weigh in on that? Who do you believe should be in the side? Should both be in the side? Or is it likely that one will be rested?
I think looking at the mindset of the selectors and the team management, if they are carrying Dinesh Karthik as a match finisher, so I think they should give him ample chances to prove that he can be a match winner in the World Cup also. So, and since Rishabh Pant has not done very well in Asia Cup, so I think Dinesh Karthik should be preferred in place of Rishabh Pant. Though Rishabh Pant is a tremendous impact player and a match winner, but looking at present form, I think Dinesh Karthik should be given a preference.
Okay, is it then likely that Pant will sit out, Sabha Karim, according to you today?
Well, he may sit out if Akshar Patel can play the multiple role that Jadeja had done before.
Yeah.
If you remember, Jadeja was sent up the order, and he can play that kind of a role with aplomb. But can Rohit Sharma and the team management, can they trust Akshar Patel to do a similar kind of a role? I do have my doubts. But having said that, otherwise you need a left-hander in your batting order. That's where Rishabh Pant comes in at number 5 for me. If Akshar Patel cannot play that kind of a role, then it becomes imperative for India to have at least one left-hander in your middle order. And for me, Rishabh Pant comes at number 5, and then Hardik Pandya can play the role of the finisher. Otherwise, I do agree with Rajkumar that they should get Dinesh Karthik in as a finisher and let him play that kind of a role.
Okay, so you're looking at Akshar Patel to fill in Jadu's shoes for now. But as far as the Australian side is concerned, how are they looking? They're, of course, also going to be one of the favourites to win the T20 World Cup on home ground. How are the Aussie side looking, and how important is it psychologically for India also to defeat this side just ahead of that all-important World Cup down under?
Well, different conditions, but the best part is at least India is playing against a strong opponent, and that really help you in your confidence. Australia coming here without David Warner, without Mitchell Starc, which kind of weakens the side. But they do have enough resources to put up a stiff challenge against India. The bowling looks very good to me. They have 2 spinners, Adam Zampa, Ashton Agar. Then they have Josh Hazlewood, Pat Cummins, Kane Richardson. All of them have got enough IPL experience, so they know how to bowl in these conditions. So it's going to be a tough battle in between India's batting versus Australia's bowling. With Tim David in the squad, they have tried to bolster their lower middle order batting, which means that they will come in with Glenn Maxwell and Tim David number 5, number 6, and the other slots can be filled in by the rest of the rest of the batters like Steve Smith and the others.
Okay, let me also quickly get in Rajkumar Sharma on Virat Kohli's form. We saw him shine, particularly in the second half of the Asia Cup. That's one good knock, and all the critics suddenly are become, of course, people who are praising you and clapping for you. So how do you look at that interesting aspect that you saw, Rajkumar Sharma, in the second half of the Asia Cup, and you hope and believe that form will continue in this series too?
Yeah, I'm very sure about it, that he'll continue his form, because there was a sort of a jinx, I would say, that he was not getting his 71st 100, and everybody was expecting it to happen. Somehow he was playing well. That time also he was getting runs. But I mean, he was not getting that bigger three-figure mark which he got in the last match against Afghanistan. So he's pretty relaxed. He's pretty positive, and after a break, he's looked very fresh now. So I think, as always, he's done well against Australia. So I expect him to do well in today's game as well.
Okay, I can see a little bit of yellow on your jacket, which is not good because that is the Australian color. But luckily, your shirt is blue, Rajkumar Sharma. So we let that pass.
Ban him, penalize him.
Yes, exactly. But his shirt is blue, so that compensates. So we leave it at that. My thanks to both of you for joining us on this special show, and we certainly wish our men in blue all the very best for this opening match against Australia. Thank you, Sabah Karim and Rajkumar Sharma, for joining us. Thanks to our viewers for being with us as well.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.